Hello, in this video we explain how to design a graphical user interface with the help of MATLAB. We'll start first by defining what a GUI is, and then we'll move on to MATLAB Apps templates, and finally we're going to walk through the steps of creating a MATLAB app. A GUI, or a graphical user interface, also known as apps in MATLAB, is basically an interface that allows a user to interact with it with the help of graphical elements such as buttons, drop-down menus, and so on. On the right-hand side here you see examples of MATLAB applications or apps, and they also can be used as templates when designing a MATLAB app. This is what the MATLAB App Designer looks like. Basically, it provides you the option of choosing to start with a blank app, or you can use a template as well. You also have options to use the option to use examples and then modify them directly from MATLAB. Now we're going to explain all the steps necessary to create a MATLAB app. In particular, we're going to design an application that allows a user to input two numbers, and then the application will multiply them together and output the result of the multiplication. The first step is to click New and then App to open the App Designer. We will choose to start with a blank app. Step 3, we're going to drag the items that are needed in our app. We're going to start with the Edit field and make sure you choose Normeric. With the Edit field, we're going to allow the user to input the two numbers that they want the app to multiply together. So we're going to add two of them by dragging them from the component library to the design view window. Next, we're going to relabel the components and replace the default label Edit field and Edit field 2 by X and Y. You can do that by simply double-click the default label and then type the new label. Next, we're going to drag a button component and three label components onto the canvas. You will see that the labels and the buttons will have a default name. So in the next step, we're going to replace the default labels into new ones that are more descriptive. For example, we can say enter the values of the two numbers that you would like to multiply. Then for the button, we replaced its text with click to calculate the result. And in label 3, we replaced it with x times y is equal to. And then the final label in which we're going to modify to display the result, I've named it result. The App Designer has a design view and a code view. The design view, from its name, allows you to visually design your app by simply dragging components from the component library, moving them around and rearranging them on the canvas. While the code view will allow you to program your app and design or code how you want the components to interact together, depending on the application, of course. So in step 7, we're going to click Code View in order to begin programming our app. Next, we're going to add callback functions. A callback function basically allows the application to respond to user interactions. So if you have a button, in this case, what we want to do is add a callback function to our button that we've named it click to calculate the result. So in the component browser, you'll see the components that you placed in the canvas. We're going to right-click the click to calculate the result button and choose callbacks from the menu, and then choose finally add button push function callback. This will add a template for a callback function that is going to be called once a user clicked the button that we placed on the canvas. Next, we're going to add the code within the function remember the function name was click to calculate the result button pushed, and it will be automatically called once a user clicks the button that you placed. So within that function, what we want to do is simply create a new variable named m, for example, in which we're going to extract the value of the x and the value of the y and then multiply them together. You can figure out the names or the exact naming of these variables from the component browser. So it will be app.xEditField.value. So x is the name of the label that we've placed. Okay, and then using the multiplier operator in between, then we type app.yEditField.value to extract the value of the y edit field. So if we've calculated the result, now we simply need to display them in the third label. So we're going to say app result label, remember, because we've named it result. So we'll say app.result label.text is equal to string to convert to a string, and then semicolon, because we don't want to display the result in the command window. We just want them to be displayed on the canvas once the user hits the button. As mentioned here, line 21 will calculate the result, line 22 will simply display them. We're almost done with our app. We simply need to run it to test it. So we're going to click run, and then MATLAB is going to prompt us to save the application. I will choose to name it multiplier, for example. Now the GUI is ready. You can simply test it to verify that it's working as expected. Notice that sometimes in MATLAB, you might have a visually appealing application. So if you click run, you will see the application and what it looks like. But sometimes after you interact with it, you will run into errors. So make sure you test your application, even though it looks like it's working. Make sure that you test it. You test all the callback functions that you've added. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching and good luck. If you have any questions related to the lab topics, please use the discussion forum on Moodle.